Both Victoria and Corpus Christi City Councils have meetings this week. A Brownsville woman is accused of stealing $750,000 from a cancer treatment clinic. And South Texans are advised to keep watch as hurricane season continues. This is South Texas Midday. I'm Rob Boskamp. Thank you for joining me. It's Tuesday, August 18th. Corpus Christi City Council meets today at their council chambers. In addition to a water supply update, council members will go into executive session to discuss groundwater rights related to the Evangeline Aquifer in San Patricio County. Full meeting agenda and public comment sign-up are available on the City of Corpus Christi's website. And Victoria City Council will also meet today at 5 p.m. at their council chambers. This week, they will vote on approval of an interlocal cooperation contract with Texas Department of Public Safety for the Texas Conviction Reporting System. Members will also discuss a contract for the city's annual audit. Victoria City Council meets on the first and third Tuesdays of each month. Meetings are live-streamed with replays available on the city's website and on YouTube at Victoria, Texas Videos. In the Rio Grande Valley, a Brownsville woman was arrested on accusations of stealing more than $750,000 from a Harlingen cancer treatment clinic through false transactions while working as its finance director. KRGV reports that the Harlingen Police Department arrested Juliana Perez earlier this month. A police report was filed in May on behalf of Valley Cancer Associates. The complaint reported that Perez allegedly used over 80 false transactions to steal money from the business between May of 2025 and April 2026. Police previously said Perez diverted company funds to 4 personal bank accounts during that time. South Texans are advised to keep watch as hurricane season continues. While it's been a quiet hurricane season in the Atlantic due to a strong El Nino, Corey Motais, warning coordination meteorologist with National Weather Service Corpus Christi, says it's been a more active season in the Eastern Pacific.
At this point in the season, we've really not even gone through about 10% of the typical number of storms that we have. So about 90% of the hurricane season is still ahead of us.
As Atlantic hurricane season continues through November, strong wind shears and dry air in the Caribbean and the Gulf can provide a quick turnaround for a storm.
Still need to have those plans in place every hurricane season because it only takes one, and they can develop, especially in the Western Gulf.
South Texas has felt the effects of inclement weather across the state, like last month's heavy rainfall in the Hill Country. While the region has seen improvements in its reservoirs from the aftermath, any direct rainfall in South Texas likely won't make an impact unless it's excessive rainfall from at least a tropical storm. In state news, all border construction activity in the Big Bend National Park has been paused amid federal plans to build new patrol roads across the park and install 17 miles of steel vehicle barriers. Travis Bubenik is the station manager at Marfa Public Radio. He told NPR's Morning Edition there's been a bipartisan push to halt construction since it was first announced.
There's just been continued shock and anger at these images of, heavy machinery cutting through the pristine desert out here in West Texas. And again, there's a chorus of people in the region across political aisles that say the barriers are just not needed out here.
Bubenik said Marfa Public Radio took a flyover Big Bend with a local pilot right before the pause was announced.
We did see a couple of construction sites where you could clearly see the crews had started cutting new paths into this untouched rocky desert. But we also did see the heavy machinery idled. The work stopped.
The Trump administration is facing multiple lawsuits over its border security plans in Big Bend National Park. Texas families are challenging the state's new law calling the 10 Commandments to be posted in every public schoolroom. KERA's Bill Ziebel reports families want to take it to the nation's high court.
More than 24 Texas families of various religious backgrounds want the U.S. Supreme Court to stop the state from posting a Protestant version of the 10 Commandments in every public classroom. Families of different faiths, and some who don't practice any faith, say they have the right to decide what role religion plays in their lives, not politicians. Sophia Howard, attorney with the ACLU of Texas, said posting the 10 Commandments in every classroom violates the separation of church and state.
Public schools are not Sunday schools, and we're hoping that the Supreme Court will affirm this.
The request by the families and ACLU of Texas was filed Monday. I'm Bill Ziebel in Dallas.
H-E-B is voluntarily recalling several of its jalapeno products due to potential salmonella contamination. Texas Public Radio's Maria Navarro has the details.
The CDC announced earlier this month a recall of peppers supplied and distributed by Coast Citrus. Products recalled from the San Antonio-based grocer include varieties of H-E-B and Nature Best branded pico de gallo, jalapeno stuffed mushrooms, and pre-cut diced jalapenos. HEB says the affected products were distributed to customers in Texas between July 3rd and August 5th. All products related to the recall were removed from shelves, but should be discarded if purchased. HEB also voluntarily removed several food items made in store that contained affected ingredients, including guacamole, ceviche, and pimento cheese. I'm Mariana Navarro in San Antonio.
And a new study concluded people who avoid problems in middle age, about 56 or so, with high blood pressure, type 2 diabetes, and smoking will delay dementia by 13 years. In the segment of KERA's Vital Signs, Sam Baker talks how and why with Dr. Ryan Chung, a neurohospitalist with Texas Health Plano.
So the most important point of this study is not that there's a 13-year treatment effect. It looked at a bunch of people, a big cohort, and it was an observational study, and it found that people who had none of these three midlife vascular risk factors lived about 13 more years both alive and free of dementia than people who had all three. An observational association, but it does give patients a tangible message that healthier blood vessels in midlife are associated with more years of a healthy brain life later in life.
But aren't these things you should be avoiding at any age, period?
Yes, these conditions, they injure the vascular system through many different pathways. And in this particular study, they looked at patients in their midlife, so roughly around 55 years, and they followed them for 20 to 30 years afterwards. And so high blood pressure, we know, damages small blood vessels and raises your risk for stroke and heart disease and other things. Diabetes adds metabolic and endothelial, also blood vessel injury. And smoking accelerates atherosclerosis and inflammation. So over decades, all of these insults can produce sometimes silent strokes or avert strokes, small vessel disease, and gives your brain less reserve as it ages. And there's been a strong association with dementia.
Why this focus, though, on age 56 or even middle age? I mean, is this the point at which signs of dementia often begin to show up?
No, actually, these are much earlier than you would expect dementia to show up. This message is geared towards people in their midlife, saying that if we can work to control these things as well as to stay away from them, then potentially we can give ourselves, on average, maybe 13 more healthy brain years.
Are there other treatments or action that you could undergo or do to delay or avoid dementia?
The broader evidence does support improving cardiovascular health at any age. So working on activity level, making sure you follow up with your doctor, that you monitor your numbers, whether it's blood pressure, cholesterol, diabetes, and that you avoid bad habits, things like smoking. And so good control of these things still matter for heart disease, brain health, and stroke prevention. So the goal is really not perfection, but to do what we can to reduce our cumulative risk.
Doctors reacting to this study say lifestyle choices you make, getting enough sleep or maybe managing stress, exercise and diet, for instance, still make a great deal of difference.
These are very basic things. They're not necessarily glamorous, but they are powerful. And the data continues to point to that. So regular physical activity, heart-healthy diet, good sleep, not smoking, management of blood pressure, diabetes, cholesterol, all of these things are really helpful in making sure that we age with grace and that our brains stay healthy. And it's from these repeated habits and not just one single intervention or supplement or food.
So you shouldn't become frightened, but you should not become careless.
Absolutely. There's no need to cause for alarm. And what we're supposed to do is to help take care of our brains and to give us the best chance at living a healthy life that's dementia-free.
Is there anything you'd like to add?
I would just say that brain health is important at all stages in life. And this study doesn't prove that treating these risk factors will delay dementia by 13 years, but it reinforces that good health in the early and midlife is strongly associated with more years of life without dementia. And so controlling blood pressure, preventing or managing diabetes, and not smoking are things that we can actually act upon throughout our life. And so brain health is really a long-term game, and the early and midlife is a good place to start.
Dr. Ryan Chung is a neurohospitalist with Texas Health Plano. And that is the latest news and information on South Texas Midday. I'm Rob Boskamp. Your community arts calendar and more is on the way.